Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rich Bradley, President of the Board of Public Service. This is the regular meeting of the Board of Public Service for Tuesday, April 25th, 2023. This is a public meeting, and although there are no lettings today, we do have two hearings to handle. So at this time, we will take the first one. Hearing number 8274 is being conducted pursuant to Chapter 8.97 of the Revised Code of the City of St. Louis. The applicant, Eldridge Brothers LLC, CO Kevin Taylor, is proposing to operate a tattoo parlor at 2218 Cherokee Street. Due to the nature of the business, the applicant is required to hold a license issued by this board pursuant to the guidelines of Chapter 8.97 of the Revised Code of the City of St. Louis. Procedural history: February 7th, 2023, certificate of conditional use permit numbered as 131436, issued to DBA Eldridge Brothers LLC, CO Kevin Taylor, to occupy 2218 Cherokee Street as a tattoo studio, no piercings, no retail sales, with conditions. February 9th, 2023, certificate of occupancy and zoning number OP-86-23, issued to DBA Eldridge Brothers LLC for the use of 2218 Cherokee Street as a tattoo studio, no piercing. February 15th, 2023, applicant submits to BPS a completed BPS tattoo parlor license application numbered 131436 for 2 chairs for the proposed premise at 2218 Cherokee Street. And March 29th, 2023, a letter from the Health Commissioner Victoria Anwari to BPS finding no evidence of health code violations at the facility at 2218 Cherokee Street and recommends issuance of a BPS license for a tattoo parlor. As outlined in Section 8.97 of the Revised Code of the City of St. Louis, the Board of Public Service may approve such application after a hearing if it is satisfied that the applicant is of good moral character and the applicant is given evidence that they will be able to operate the premise in compliance with all regulations and laws governing such premise, and applicant is a resident of the state and their neighborhood consent petition is in due form, and the applicant's premise are not within 500 feet of an elementary school. The Board of Public Service has in its possession and is therefore admitted into evidence the following documents. Item 1, a certified copy of Chapter 8.97 of the Revised Code of the City of St. Louis. Item 2, the applicant's file with the Office of Secretary, Board of Public Service, which includes but is not limited to A, the above referenced license application with the drawing of the proposed premise. B, public notices that were published and posted for today's hearing. C, letters sent certified mail to the applicant and to Justia LLC, attention, Kevin Hendricks, 2206 Sydney Street, St. Louis, Missouri, 63104, with the notice of today's hearing. Item 3, a copy of the certificate of occupancy and zoning issued on February 9th, 2023 for 2218 Cherokee Street to be occupied as a tattoo studio. Item 4, a letter dated March 29th, 2023 from the Commissioner of Health, Victoria Anwari, stating that community sanitation staff inspected the facility at 2218 Cherokee Street and found no evidence of health code violations. The issuance of a license for a tattoo establishment was recommended. Item 5, certificate of conditional use permit numbered as 131436, issued to DBA Eldridge Brothers LLC, CO Kevin Taylor, occupying 2218 Cherokee Street as a tattoo studio with retail sales and with conditions. And item 6, a certificate of professional registration from the state of Missouri for Alicia Rice. The Board of Public Service will swear in and hear from the applicants and those in support of the applicant's proposed use. The board will then allow those in opposition of the tattoo parlor to address the board. After each side has had an opportunity to speak, the board will allow for rebuttal. At this time, the board asks the applicant to please come forward and be sworn in by the board secretary.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Michelle, will you please swear the applicant in?
Sure. Kevin, would you raise your right hand for me, please?
Yes,
Do you swear that the testimony that you're about to give before this board is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do swear.
Thank you. Please state your name and your address for the board.
My name is Kevin Taylor and my address is 7872 Old Lee May Ferry Road, Barnhart, Missouri, 63012.
Okay, Mr. Taylor, I have a series of questions asked you. If you would just walk through those with me. And then afterwards, I will allow you a time to tell the board anything you would like to tell them, okay?
Okay, Grant, thank you.
Okay, great. Okay, are you a resident of the state of Missouri?
I am indeed.
Thank you. The state of Missouri requires that tattoo establishments be issued a license from the Director of Division of Professional Registration of the state of Missouri for the operation. Do you have a license for your proposed tattoo establishment issued by the Director of the Division of Professional Registration for the state of Missouri?
Well, my partner here, Alicia Rice, is going to be the tattoo artist in the premises. I am the owner, and she does have licensing, yes.
Great. And how many tattoo chairs are being applied for today?
2.
Okay. And are you aware that any increase in the number of tattoo chairs must be applied for with this board?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. And how many employees will you have at this establishment?
Well, everyone is going to be an independent contractor. So they kind of rent a chair on the premises.
Okay. And are you aware that all the tattoo artists must have their Missouri state licensures?
Absolutely, sir. Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to ask you a series of questions here and I will cue you one to answer. Will you be able to comply with all provisions of Chapter 8.97 of the revised code of the city of St. Louis, including the following? A, do you understand that you as the operator of this tattoo parlor are at all times responsible for the orderly conduct of the establishment and the acts of any of your agents, servants, or employees in the operation of the same?
Yes.
B, do you understand that tattoo establishments may only be open between 9 a.m. and 1 a.m.?
Yes.
And what are your proposed hours of operation?
9 till 6.
Okay. C, do you understand that tattoo parlors shall be kept clean and well lighted so that the rear of the premise is plainly visible from the front of the premise?
Yes.
And will you be able to comply with this stipulation?
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you. And finally, do you understand that no tattoo parlor shall allow or permit loud noises, boisterous or disorderly conduct in or around the premise or on the grounds of such premise, and the operator shall prevent the loitering of persons on the premise or around the premise of the tattoo parlor?
Yes.
And will you be able to comply with these regulations?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, so at this time, I'd like to give you the floor. Tell the board anything you would like.
Fantastic. So thank you so much for finding time to see me today. I'm a former professor from Webster University in computer animation and game development, and I'm opening this business up as an art gallery and a tattoo studio. The tattooing is currently, while it may run all week, we're actually only planning for the foreseeable future to be running Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we're going to be open as an art gallery and an art studio for the rest of that time. I've been to numerous LEMP meetings, of in the LEMP district, and Dan Gunther, John Brower, Barbara Moore, who are the business owners, have provided letters of support, and I have a petition from local businesses which has 12 additional signatures as well. So I made sure to kind of go around, introduce myself, and let everyone know what was kind of going to be happening. And it was, and that we're going to be running a private studio. It is going to be quiet, and we don't foresee any any disruption to the neighborhood.
Thank you very much, sir. At this time, I'd like to open the floor for any questions for the applicant from any of our board directors. Okay, seeing no questions from the board. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you for your time.
At this time, if there's anyone in favor of this applicant or the proposed establishment that wishes to testify, please come forward and be sworn in. Okay, I don't see anybody else on the screen. I don't see anybody in the chat. If someone else wishes to testify in favor of the proposed establishment or the applicant, please bring it to my attention now. Seeing none. Let the record reflect that there was no one present at today's hearing to speak in favor of the applicant or the proposed establishment. Now, if there's anyone in opposition to the applicant or the proposed establishment that wishes to testify, please come forward and be sworn in. I don't see anyone on the screen. I don't see any hands raised or in the chat. If I'm missing you, please speak out now if you'd like to testify in opposition to the applicant or the proposed establishment. Seeing none, let the record reflect that there was no one present at today's hearing who is in opposition, wishes to testify in opposition to the applicant or the proposed establishment. The matter concerning hearing number 8274 is now closed and submitted. We will proceed with our next hearing. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Our next hearing is hearing number 8275. This hearing number 8275 is being conducted pursuant to chapter 8.97 of the revised code of the city of St. Louis. The applicant DBA Deep Frost Tattoo LLC, CO Laurie Fritsch, is proposing to operate a tattoo parlor at 6136 Southwest Avenue. Due to the nature of the business, the applicant is required to hold a license issued by this board pursuant to the guidelines of chapter 8.97 of the revised code of the city of St. Louis. Procedural history. February 14th, 2023, certificate of occupancy and zoning numbered OP-564-22 issued to Deep Forest Tattoo for the use of 6136 Southwest Avenue as a tattoo studio. February 26, 2023, the applicant submits to BPS a completed BPS tattoo parlor license application number 131465 for 2 chairs for the proposed premise at 6136 Southwest Avenue. On March 29, 2023, a letter from the Health Commissioner, Victoria Ann Wari, to BPS, finding no evidence of health code violations at the facility at 6136 Southwest Avenue, and recommends the issuance of a BPS license for a tattoo parlor with 2 chairs. As outlined in section 8.97.070 of the revised code of the city of St. Louis, the Board of Public Service may approve such application after a hearing if it is satisfied that the applicant is of good moral character and the applicant is given evidence that they will be able to operate the premise in compliance with all regulations and laws governing such premise, and the applicant is a resident of the state and their neighborhood consent petition is in due form, and the applicant's premise are not within 500 feet of an elementary school. The Board of Public Service has in its possession and is therefore admitting to evidence the following documents. Item 1, a certified copy of chapter 8.97 of the revised code of the city of St. Louis. Item 2, the applicant's file with the Office of Secretary, Board of Public Service, which includes but not limited to A, the above referenced license application withdrawing a proposed premise, B, public notices that were published and posted for today's hearing, C, copies of the notice sent certified mail to the applicant and to MEMPAC LLC, attention, E.M. Stamatakis, at 3668 Rustic Meadows Drive, St. Louis, Missouri, 63129 of today's hearing. Item 3, a copy of certificate of occupancy and zoning issued for 6136 Southwest Avenue to be occupied as a tattoo studio. And item 4, a letter from Commissioner of Health Victoria Anwari stating the community sanitation staff inspected the facility at 6136 Southwest Avenue and found no evidence of health code violations. The issuance of a license for a tattoo establishment was recommended. The Board of Public Service will swear in and hear from the applicants and those in support of the applicant's proposed use. The board will then allow those in opposition of the tattoo parlor to address the board. After each side has had an opportunity to speak, the board will allow for rebuttal. At this time, the board asks that the applicant please come forward and be sworn in.
Hello, Laura. Would you raise your right hand, please? Hello, Laura. Would you raise your right hand, please?
Yes.
The testimony that you're about to give before this board, you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Would you state your and
And
address
it's
for the
Laura.
board?
Sorry, I missed the second half.
And your address for the board.
Okay, sorry, it broke up. Laura Fritchie, and it's for 6136 Southwest Avenue. It's Deep Forest Tattoo.
Great, thank you so much. I'm gonna walk through a series of questions. And then I would ask you if you would. please. Some reason we have an echo. here.
Yeah, there's,
Not sure what that is. Okay, number one,
Okay,
are you a resident of the state of Missouri?
yes,
The state of Missouri requires that he issued a license from the director of the Division of Professional Registration of the state of Missouri for the operations. Do you have a license from the director of the Division of Professional Registration from the state of Missouri?
yes.
And how many tattoo chairs are being applied for?
2,
And are you aware that any must be applied for with this board?
yes.
Mr. President, I'm
How
sorry.
many employees will you have at this establishment?
Sorry, it was broken up.
I'm sorry, Mr. President. Can
How
I,
many employees will you have at this establishment?
It will just be me at this time.
And do all tattoo artists have their Missouri state license?
Yes, that's me.
And I have a series of questions. I will walk you through, and then I'll cue you one answer. Will you be able to comply with all provisions of Chapter 8.97 of the revised code of the city? Specifically, do you understand that you, as the operator of this tattoo parlor, are at all times responsible for the orderly conduct of the establishment and the acts of any of your agents, servants, or employees in the operation of the same? You can answer that.
Yes, yes.
And B, do you understand that tattoo establishments may only be open between 9 and 1 a.m.? And what are your proposed hours of operation?
Yes, and it'll be from 10 till 7 p.m.
Okay. Do you understand that tattoo parlors should be kept clean and well lighted so that the rear of the premise is plainly visible
is
from the front
plainly
of the banner.
visible from the front of the banner.
Yes.
And will you be able to come
And will
maintain
you
the
be able
tattoo
to come
establishment
maintain the tattoo establishment
in this manner?
in this manner?
Yes.
And finally,
And finally,
do you understand that no
do you
tattoo
understand that
parlor
no tattoo parlor
shall allow or
shall
permit
allow or permit
any loud noises
any loud noises
or boisterous or
or
disorderly
boisterous or
conduct
disorderly conduct
in or around the premise
in or around the premise
or on the grounds of such
or
premise,
on the grounds of such premise,
and that the operator shall
and that the
prevent
operator shall prevent
the loitering of
the
persons on the
loitering of
premise
persons on the premise
or around the premise
or around the premise
of the tattoo parlor.
of the tattoo parlor.
Yes.
And will you be able to
Will
comply with
you
these
be able to
regulations?
comply with these regulations?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
At this time, I'd like
this
to
time, I'd like
turn the
to
floor over to you
turn
to
the
say
floor
anything
over
you'd
to
like
you
to the board.
Anything you'd like to the board.
Okay. Well, hello, I'm Laura. I am just opening up very quiet, private tattoo studio. It's just gonna be me and talking to one other artist that may be joining me soon. But it's all appointment only. Pretty much you won't even really know we're there. Just a nice, quiet, safe place to tattoo all my clients. Just what I was looking for. So good chunk of my clientele is female, so that's like was a big thing. To find a safe neighborhood to keep that going. So I don't know. I think that, and like just trying to be a part of the community. It's a really nice community, and people have reached out and have really been really welcoming to me. So I think it's, I don't know.
Great.
I guess that's
Great.
it.
So I have a question
So
for
I have a
you. Are
question
you
for
logged
you.
on
Are
in
you
more
logged
than
on
one
in
place?
more than one place?
Sorry.
Are you logged on in more
Are
than
you
one
logged
place?
on in more than one place?
I don't think so. Let me see.
Okay,
Close some other windows.
okay. At this time, I'd like to open the floor up for any
At this
questions from any of our board
I'd like to
members.
open the floor up for any questions from any of our board members.
Okay, seeing no questions from our board members, thank you very much.
Questions from our board members, thank you very much.
If there's anyone in
If there's
favor of this
anyone in
applicant
favor of this applicant
or the proposed
or the
establishment that wishes
proposed
to testify,
establishment that wishes to testify,
please come forward and be sworn
please
in.
come forward and be sworn in.
I don't see anyone in the chat
Don't see anyone in the chat
or on the screen with your hand
or
up.
on
So
the
please
screen with your hand up. Please
bring it to my attention if
bring
you're
it to
here.
my attention if you're here.
Seeing none, let the record reflect that there is no one here to testify today in favor of this establishment or this applicant. Now, if there's anyone in opposition to the applicant or the proposed establishment that wishes to testify, please come forward and be sworn in. Again, I don't see anyone in the chat or on the screen. If you're here and you want to testify in opposition, please bring it to my attention now. Seeing none, let the record reflect that there's no one present at today's hearing to testify in opposition to this establishment. The matter concerning hearing number 8275 is now closed and submitted. The board will deliberate the matter following the remaining agenda items. At this time, I'll ask the secretary to please call the roll.
Director Coyle? Director Davis? Director Hayes?
Aye.
Director Scoggin? Director Scobie? Director Williams?
Aye.
President Bradley?
Present, we have a quorum. I'll call a meeting order.
Regular order of business from the president, recommendation that approval be given as follows. PSA agreement number 1262, task order contract for principal orderers, traffic safety and other associated improvements with Lockmuller Group Incorporated for the maximum agreement amount of $2 million. PSA Agreement Number 1264, Task Order Contract for Principal Arterials, Traffic Safety and other associated improvements with WSP USA Incorporated for the maximum agreement amount of $2 million. An ordinance recommended by the City of St. Louis Board of Public Service to establish multiple public works and improvement projects on Sarah Street, the Linden Union Bridge, Delmar Boulevard in Louisiana within the City of St. Louis. Plans and specifications for letting number 8757, the Forest Park Waterway Project located at 5032 Clayton. This project is a rebid for an estimated cost of $6,647,037 and is authorized by ordinance 69049. Subrecipient agreement between St. Louis Development Corporation and the City of St. Louis by and through its Board of Public Service to make a sub-award of $182,000 of ARPA funds that were appropriated to the Board of Public Service to St. Louis Development Corporation for compensation for a broadband project manager for 2 years. From the Office of Special Events, request that the following be approved, subject to certain conditions. There are 2 special events to be declared as festival zones. Number 1, St. Louis Punk Rock Flea Market will take place at Kena Plaza and Chestnut between 7th and Broadway on May 27, 2023 at 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Set up and tear down will be on June 4th at 8 a.m. to June 11th at 10 p.m. Number 2, Nothing Impossible Week will take place at Bergeron Park on June 5th, 2023 at 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. June 6th through June 10th at 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Set up and tear down will be on June 4th at 8 a.m. to June 11th at 10 p.m. From the Director of Public Utilities, recommendation that the board declares as emergency action the following. Install communication, cabling, and conduit for both Howard Bend and Chain of Rocks chlorine chemical feed buildings. This work is needed to run new communication cable and conduit to upgrade and replace 10 old PLCs that are becoming obsolete, failing, and parts are becoming scarcer. The estimated cost for this work is $35,780. From the Director of Streets, recommendation that the following be approved, subject to certain conditions. Application number 131544, request from Union Electric doing business as Ameren, Missouri for a pole replacement and trip saver installed at 1663 McLaurin. Application number 131546, request from Union Electric doing business as Ameren, Missouri to install 380 feet of new concrete encased conduit in the street at 4500 Forest Park Avenue. Recommendation that the following be denied. Application number 131512, request from Pre-Culture LLC doing business as Black Mountain Wine House to encroach with tables and chairs for a sidewalk cafe at 354 North Boyle due to a lack of adequate sidewalk space to put tables and chairs and still maintain 4 feet of open obstructive walkway. From the Directors of Public Safety and Utilities, joint recommendation that the following be approved, subject to certain conditions. Request from Runaway Group LLC, Altea LLC, to subdivide 3314 Sydney Street into separate fee simple townhomes in City Block 1437. Request from CW Laclede LLC to consolidate the lots at 3940, 3942, and 3948 through 62 Laclede into a single parcel in City Block 3919W. Request from Tim O'Connell to adjust boundary at 2628 Haggard Court in City Block 1581. Request from Orlando Askin to adjust the boundary at 2825, 2827, and 2831 Oregon Avenue into 4 lots in City Block 1426. Request from Urban League Grice Group Architects to consolidate 4 lots owned by Urban League at 1338 North Kings Highway Boulevard in City Block 3787. Request from John McDonald to consolidate 2605 Hampton and 5952 and 5956 Columbia into one parcel in City Block 5892. From the Directors of Public Utilities and Streets, joint recommendation that 2 applications from Verizon be approved, subject to certain conditions. Application number CM 23-00048 for 4469 Gibson Avenue. Application number CM 23-00013 for 4177 Lafayette. From the Director of Public Safety, we have 4 conditional use permits. Steve?
There we go. Good afternoon, Mr. President and members of the board. My name is Steve Narr, zoning plan examiner for the city of St. Louis, representing the building commissioner. Per board order 766 transmitted herewith are recommendations for the following conditional use agenda applications. Approval with conditions is recommended for 3 applications. 5054 Granbury Way, 2906 Union Boulevard, and 3338 Union Boulevard. Denial is recommended for 1 application, 2607 Graveway Avenue.
Thank you,
Correct.
Steve. Are there any questions on today's conditional uses from our board? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve, please.
Greg Hayes, motion to approve the conditional uses as submitted.
Boyle, second.
Thank you, directors. Can you call the roll, please? Michelle, you're muted.
Thank you. Director Coyle?
Aye.
Director Davis? Director Hayes?
Aye.
Director Scoggin? Director Scobie? Director Williams?
Aye.
President Bradley?
Aye, today's conditional uses are approved. We will first handle hearing number 8274 DBA Eldridge Brothers LLC. Kevin Taylor to occupy 2218 Cherokee Tattoo Studio with 2 chairs, retail sales. We heard from our applicant that they will be in compliance with all provisions of chapter 8.97 of the revised code. They have all their licensing requirements in place, and we had approval from the Commissioner of Health. There was no one to testify in opposition or in favor of. And so at this time, I will open the floor up from any commentary from any of our board directors. Again, noting this is for a license to operate the facility.
This is Greg Hayes. I make a motion to approve.
Second Williams.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve. Any further questions before we vote? Seeing none, can you call the roll, please?
Director Coyle?
Aye.
Director Davis? Director Hayes?
Aye.
Director Scoggin? Director Scobie? Director Williams?
Aye.
President Bradley?
Aye, approved. Thank you. Hearing number 8275 for Deep Forest Tattoo LLC, Laura Frishy to operate tattoo establishment with 2 chairs, 6136 Southwest Avenue. We heard from our applicant that she will be in compliance with all provisions of chapter 8.97 of the revised code, that all Missouri state licensure requirements are in place. And again, we have approval from the Commissioner of Health. We had no one testify in favor or opposition to this establishment. Again, this is an application for a license for a tattoo establishment. Open the floor up for any discussion from our board directors. Seeing none, I'll take a motion, please.
Williams, motion to approve.
Boyle, second.
Thank you, directors. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Coyle?
Aye.
Director Davis? Director Hayes?
Aye.
Director Scoggin, Director Scobie, Director Williams,
Aye.
President Bradley.
Aye, approved. I turn your attention to our meeting minutes from April 18th, 2023. Are there any questions or comments on the meeting minutes as presented? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Hayes, second.
Thank you. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Coyle,
Aye.
Director Davis, Director Hayes,
Michelle and Rich, I'm sorry, I need to take that back on my second. I abstain. I was not at the meeting last Tuesday.
Thank you. Then I'll go ahead and second that because I would be the other director that was present. So can you take the vote over, please?
Sorry
sure,
about that.
no problem. Director Coyle,
Aye.
Director Davis, Director Hayes,
Abstain.
Director Scoggin, Director Scobie, Director Williams, Director Williams,
I was only at half of the meeting, but I approved the meeting minutes because I reviewed them. So is that okay?
So technically, and this is the legal answer to this, I've asked this multiple times. You do not have to be at the meeting to approve meeting minutes as long as you review them and you have no questions or comments about them.
Got you. Well, then I approve, that's what you want, aye.
Yes.
thank you. President Bradley.
Aye, the meeting minutes are approved. And just a little edification on that, a lot of people will abstain if they weren't at the meeting because they don't read through the minutes because they really, weren't there to witness it, but you can technically vote to approve it even if you weren't there. So, today's BPS meeting agenda, are there any questions or comments on today's meeting agenda? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve, please.
Motion to approve, Williams.
Second, Hayes.
Thank you. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Coyle,
Aye.
Director Davis, Director Hayes,
Aye.
Director Scoggin, Director Scobie, Director Williams,
Aye.
President Bradley.
Aye, the meeting agenda is approved. Before we adjourn, are there any questions or comments from any of our board directors? Very quickly, I appreciate you all taking your time to come weekly, so thank you from the bottom of my heart for that. Helps us get the meetings done. Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn, please.
Yep, Rich, I do have a comment.
Go ahead.
And I would have made this comment on the 18th if I would have been present. So now I guess it's just as good of an opportunity. I don't believe I've said this yet, but we had a very, I don't even know the adjective. The week before, we had a very difficult and challenging BPS meeting with some of the accusations, allegations that were brought up. It was very, in my opinion, I can't speak to the other board members, it's very disturbing. And I think it's fair to say it probably caught all of us off guard, but I just want to tell you, you did a fantastic job of handling that meeting. You are sensitive to everything going on. And I think everything that you said seemed to fall right in line with how to handle it with just in almost perfect fashion. So I want to commend you. And all of us went through it, but you're the leader on that call, and you just did an exemplary job of leadership, of showing leadership, of handling that call. So I don't want to embarrass you, but I want to let you know that I was impressed as normal.
I totally agree with that and second everything he said.
Thank
All
you.
of our difficult calls, your leadership shines through every time. So I do appreciate that.
Thank you guys for the kind words. I really do appreciate that. It was definitely a challenging meeting for all of us. I learned some things as well as others. I do want to tell you, as long as you asked that, made that mention of that, I did make a mistake in that meeting. I made a commentary about things being appealed to the Board of Adjustment. And just for the sake of clarity, we got this all resolved. after the meeting, but because this is when they were going for licensing, which is chapter 8 of the revised code, and not a conditional use, which is chapter 26, we had them speak to the license collector's office, and there is an appeal process through the Board of Tax Appeals. So the license collector is working with her on that. But I wanted to clarify that I do appreciate the kind words, but yes, I learned a couple things myself while we went through that. So thank you. Okay, thank you. Any further comments from anyone? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved, Hayes.
Second, Williams.
Thank you, directors. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, meeting adjourned. Thank you all. See you all this evening.
All
Got
right.
it. Thank you.